Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're reviewing a Dodge Challenger Hellcat Superstock. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Southtown Imports here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Hellcat. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And by the way, they happen to have 2 of these Superstocks in inventory if you happen to be interested. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a supercharged 6.2 liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 13 around town and then 21 on the highway, with power outputs being a whopping 807 horsepower and then 707 pound-feet of torque. And of course, don't forget the hood pins. Now, before we go over the front end of this Challenger, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So we have the dual snorkel hood front and center, which just looks so aggressive. And then when you pop down from that to the rest of the front end, I mean, this thing just means business. Of course, you can see the subtle Hellcat logo right there. But again, you've got the iconic front ends. And by the way, as I'm filming this video, you can no longer order Challengers, so I guess that we are now filming a vintage car at this point. And then also, you guys can hopefully see in the light there, there's another little Hellcat logo, which is kind of cool. Anyways, putting it all together, it looks really cool, and yep, it still has the little lip from the factory. And now coming on the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 315, 40, 18 in the front and over in the rear. And I mean, this is literally a drag setup. It is really crazy to see this on this car from the factory. Huge Brembo brakes as well, and then I love the 5-spoke design. It looks really good. And then you probably noticed, to fit those giant tires, we've got the wide body kit on this one, and then you guys can see the Hellcat Redeye badge, and then notice stuff like the mirror caps, door handles, all body painted. And here's your full side view with the Superstock. Has that cool wide body appearance. Now, taking a look at the key fob itself, you guys can see we've got our unlock function or lock function, remote start, the opening here for the trunk, and then of course got the Hellcat logo there in the back. And speaking of the back, you guys can see we've got plenty of cargo space here in the rear, and that's one of the cool things about the Challenger and even the Superstock, right? It's got tons of cargo space. So yeah, you could take this to the drag strip, but you could also, I guess, take it on a road trip. Now we've got another Hellcat badge right there, and then look at the spoiler that goes across. And you guys can see here with the Challenger's signature taillights. And then look at the parking sensors there at the bottom with the covers for the exhaust tips. And putting it all together, let me know what you guys think about the looks, but like, I don't think it gets any cooler than this. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see here with the soft touch, and then look at the trim down below with the padding. All of our window controls, and notice they're automatic, and you got your mirror adjustments. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, and then this has the Alpine sound system, and it even has memory seats. Now, even though this is a dragster, it actually has back seats, surprisingly, which is really cool. You guys can see the mix between the Alcantara and the leather on these seats, and you can fit people back there, but it is cramped. Still more spacious than a Mustang or Camaro, but yeah, it is what it is. And then taking a look at the front seat, you guys can see there with the headrest, and then look at all of the trim down the center portion. And then really cool pedal layout. And we've got our light control here, and then look at the trim on the side. And then the steering wheel is power adjustable. So here's a look at the steering wheel, perforated on either side, and then I love the leather trim all over. Paddle shifters here on the back for the 8-speed automatic. You got radio controls as well. There's the cruise control. You've got your phone controls, voice command controls there for the center stack as well. And speaking of center stack, you guys can see we've got this digital gauge cluster. Well, the center portion, the outside is analog, but looks really cool. And of course, the speedo goes up to 220 miles per hour. Crazy. But yeah, I mean, you can scroll through a bunch of different bits of info here on the car there in the center. Pretty standard, you know, performance Challenger stuff. But what I do like is the carbon fiber trim all around. I think that's cool. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Resolution on it's pretty good. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time with the screen is solid. You do have dual zone climate. You also happen to have, if I press it properly, heated and ventilated seats as well as a heated steering wheel. And so, yeah, I think overall good infotainment system. We are going to pop into the SRT dashboard now. So this is where you can see we've got the launch control, you've got line lock, aka burnout mode, you've got the chiller there where you can redirect the air conditioning to cool down the engine, and then you guys can see here with the shift light, all of that. I mean, it literally, it has everything you need for drag racing. And then you got the drive modes here, so you guys can see the custom sport and then the track mode. And on top of that, you also obviously have the performance pages. Now, nice soft touch all over the dash with all of the stitching, and actually got a little Hellcat logo there at the end. And then again, I love the carbon fiber trim, and it's also down here. Analog radio controls, by the way, launch control. Again, that's for the SRT pages. Dual zone climate controls, and then you got a shifter there for the 8-speed automatic, and more of the carbon fiber trim. Good storage space in here. And, whoops, while we're on the topic of storage space, you can see that in the glove box as well. And then last but not least, you guys can see the little sunglass holder. And then we do have a nice headliner. I don't know if it's gonna pop up on camera very well, but that's also kind of adds to the sporty feel. Here is the original window sticker for this super stock. You guys can see the base MSRP. That's before the super stock package is added. The super stock package is a $20,600 upgrade. But you can see all the stuff that it adds there. Then you got a few other packages as well. This was the total original MSRP. Now that the Challengers are officially discontinued, I'm sure these things are going for way more money because we just are never gonna have anything like this in the future. Anyways, let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. You guys can see visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors. You do blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, actually I was thinking I was gonna turn around, but you know, we're just gonna back up here. Also, gosh, the camera resolution here with the Dodge is horrible. I'm just gonna say that right now. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's definitely not the best. But whatever, it's a discontinued car at this point, so it doesn't matter. Plus, I don't think that people buy this car for its camera resolution or lack thereof. But I want to talk about some things before we actually start the drive. And the first thing is actually how comfortable this car is just sitting in it. The seats are actually really dang comfortable, again, for a high performance car. And then, you know, on top of that, getting in and out is actually really easy. Turning radius is not very good. But kind of expected with such a big car. I mean, everyone calls the Challengers boats. But man, I mean, look at the reflection there. It looks so cool. This is such, like, every single time I see a Challenger on the road, even if it's just a V6, I still think that's such a cool looking car. Like, Dodge did such an amazing job with the styling on this car. Yeah, tons of torque, obviously. 707 pound-feet. And it's not super low to the ground, so it's actually kind of easy to get it in and out of the driveway. So I think that's a positive, that's for sure. And just listen to that. Gosh, you gotta love the sound of a supercharged V8. Just such a beautiful note. Now, I do want to mention, normally I do like the little interstate run, but it's rush hour now, so I'm going to avoid the interstate. I did review another Superstock, so if you want to see like an interstate run with the Superstock, then just type in Ben Hardy, you know, Challenger Superstock on YouTube search bar, and that review will come up. I also reviewed a Dodge Viper that same exact day, just for those of you wondering. I was curious to see what gear it was in. Seems like in the auto mode it kind of optimizes for fuel efficiency, which I think is kind of funny a little bit. But yeah, I mean, so like it's crazy how smooth this car is. Really is crazy how smooth this car is. So we're gonna pop it into the sport mode. Just listen to that supercharger. Just getting a little bit of that, and it's so fun. And even the sport mode and everything's, you know, stiffer. It's still like, this is a car you could drive across the country very comfortably. I think they've done a really good job with just making this mega daily drivable. It is built off of an old Mercedes-Benz platform, so it makes sense. Listen to that. Even at low speeds, you can have some fun with this thing. makes cool pops at the exhaust too. I don't know if it, like, listen. It's like little gargles. Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool. Oh man. It's just like, we're never gonna have anything like this again. That's the sad thing. 800 horsepower, supercharged V8, and it sounds that good. And the thing is, like, this is, because of how like good this car sounds, and just because of how the engine performs, it's one of those few cars that you can actually have fun driving this at lower speeds. You don't need to, I mean, obviously it's super fun when it's fast, when you're going fast too, but you can have fun with this at lower speeds. And speaking of going fast, we're gonna kind of get into it a little bit here. Oh man. Oh man, the way that this just builds power, and that's not full, that's like, I mean, I was in the throttle, but it's not like the deepest in the throttle that I could have been. Of course, it's deciding to rain. Oh man, that's just so much torque. And the scream. Again, if you want to see like an interstate acceleration, just go watch the other review, but oh, the transmission is so good too, and just the gargles out of the exhaust and everything. So pop back into auto mode. So summing things up here, I mean, I don't think I could ever get sick of the Challenger. I think it's such an iconic car. It's sad that this no longer exists. Yeah, it's raining, so it's a good thing that we're done now. Freaking got drag radials. Don't want to have those in the rain. Yeah, it's such a special car. It looks so cool. Super special engine. There's just never going to be anything like this again. So like, if you've got the money, you know, obviously I can't predict the future. Nobody can predict the future market values, but like, I feel like as time goes on, there's probably gonna be fewer and fewer of these in good condition available. And so, you know, the prices, I understand they're high now, but they're probably gonna be even higher in the future. But let me know what you guys think.